What's iconic to Bali is satay. And what better place to do it is here amongst the rice paddies. So first thing we're going to do is going to do the duck. And this dish is all about mincing and chopping. And whenever you walk around in Bali on those ceremony days, all you hear is the tak, 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 tak. That's them making the Satay Lilit and the bumbu gede. So just grab some duck mince, and you can either get your butcher to mince it, or you can mince it yourself. Just debone a duck. It's very easy, but make sure there's no fat. Otherwise, it's not going to stick to the satay skewer. So put this in a bowl, mix in some bumbu gede, but this one's a little bit different. I've not put any turmeric in it, and I've also reduced the chili in it, but put a little bit more pepper. And we're just going to mix this through. While I'm mixing this, I'm going to get an egg. You probably only need about half an egg for this amount. You don't want too much egg, otherwise it becomes too hard to stick as well. And use probably about maybe 200 grams of duck mince for this. And I've used probably about another 100 grams of bumbu gede. The main character of this dish is always the kencur, which is the signature of Balinese cuisine. So you want about maybe 60 grams of coconut, maybe less, probably about 50 grams actually. And you know, people always go, Will, why do you never use measurements? Because for me, when you've been cooking Asian for as long as I have, no one really uses measurements. You use your eye and your feeling. Now, I'm going to also add in a little bit of coconut cream here. You can use kara, which I've used here, which is fairly easy. Add about a tablespoon of that in. Mix that through. Then I'm going to add in a little bit of palm sugar in here. You don't want this to be too sweet at all, so it's just a light seasoning, that's all. You mix that in. Then just add a little bit of salt in there, about a pinch. Okay, that's the duck ready. So now it's time to prepare the fish. Again, exactly the same principle. I've used snapper, but you can use any white flesh fish. In the villages, they don't have much money, so they actually use lilit, which is catfish. So again, put that in here. I'm gonna take my bumbu gede here, and then again, you can see this one's a little bit more yellow in color with the turmeric. So I'm just gonna add that into here as well. And again, normally, you know, they do it on the chopping board and they swipe it and move it across. I might have a go on here and show you how they do it. So basically it's kind of like this. Bring it across, chop it up. Gonna add a little bit more in there as well. So again, what I've done is about probably 250 grams of fish, and I probably used about maybe 120 grams of bumbu gede in there. Okay, so now also add in a little bit of coconut. And add in about maybe another 50 grams or so. Mix that all in. Gonna add in a little bit of egg as well. So just make a well in here so it doesn't fall out everywhere. There we go. About a tablespoon and a half of egg. Then just mix that through. Let's get another knife and make it quicker. And this is the sound of Bali. Now I'm gonna add a little bit of coconut cream in here, just about a tablespoon. Add a little bit of salt. Add a little bit of sugar, not too much, remember, just a small amount. Now I've worked up a little bit of a sweat on this, and I think that's about right. So we'll just pop that into the bowl and then save that for later. And we have one more satay to do, which is the chicken satay. So first, use chicken thigh fillet, because I find that holds the juiciness much better than the breast and it dries out quite quickly. Let's pop this into the bowl. Add a little bit of ketumbar, which is coriander seed in Bahasa. Put a sprinkle of that in. Then a little bit of pepper, which is merica, white pepper. Sprinkle that on. And then get your lovely sweet ketchup manis, which is sweet soy. You can buy that pretty much everywhere now. A little bit of salt. And it's really important when you do this that you don't cut your chicken too big. You want it sort of like a thumbnail size. Taste. A little bit more salt in there. And I think that's it. We're ready to start skewering. With all that hard work, I've moved into the shade to start grilling the satays. But before I do that, time to skewer. And I use the tusuk gigi, as they call it, which is the larger skewers, and I'm just going to skewer the meat on, and nice and small, because I don't want it too big, and nice and tightly as well. You don't want to have it too loose. So almost a double score at the end here. There we go, bring that out. Perfect. Pop that here. Now it's time to skewer the Satay Lilit, and there's a very interesting technique to get this right. So you got to take a little blob of it, and it's best if it's worked when it's cold, because when it's warm, it's quite hard to be pliable onto the stick. So you just put it on the end, and then basically the idea is that you just mold it around. You don't stick it on there, you got to mold it on. It's quite difficult, but there is a knack to it. There we are, it's one. Put that here. Now I'm going to get the duck. Duck's a bit more easier because it's a bit firmer compared to the fish. Fish can be quite difficult. There we go. And put the blob on, and then you just push it down like that. It always helps also to put a little bit of water on your hands as well, and that helps hold the skewer down. And you never want to have the skewer too much meat on it, because otherwise it kind of burns halfway down. It doesn't cook evenly. Just pop this down here. So now I'm going to grab my satay skewers and start the grilling process. So just pop them on there. And a good trick as well is to actually soak the satay skewers beforehand. And if you soak them beforehand, then the wood doesn't burn. So it's quite a good little trick actually to do. There we go. And now we let this slowly grill away. Should take probably about 5 minutes on each side, but you probably have to turn quite frequently as well. So I think my satays are perfectly done now. Look at that. Whoa. It's going to be a feast and a half for every rice farmer in town. Here we go. Pop that on here. There's my satay skewers. And I've got my peanut sauce, and I've got my sambal ketchup with a bit of lime and diced shallot and chili. Wow, let's have a dip and have a taste. Heaven. Bit of satay, and that peanut sauce. In the peanut sauce, what I've done is basically fried peanuts, fried chilies, and then blended it with a little bit of palm sugar, ketchup manis, sweet soy, a little bit of salt, and that's it. Very easy. Let's try my babek satay. That duck, so good. I think I'm gonna go home and eat this.